Hello, Bubblies! After playing Chapter 3, I had an itch to create a smiling critter of my own, and I love what I made. This is Bella Butterscotch. She's a fainting goat that would release a butterscotch scent when her tummy is squished. Her main symbol is a bell, while her favorite activity is to read and write. Within the cartoon, Bella is a fairly shy and maternal character who often is taking care of the smiling critters. She's a supporting character that is often in the background playing or walking with Catnap. Otherwise, unlike the other spunky characters, she's often by herself. The exceptions to this are when characters need her to help take care of someone else who's sick, or if they need someone to vent to, in which case she's there to quietly help. Though in the show, she is also shown to be very attached to Dog Day since he found her in the rain. It's a running joke throughout the show as well that Bella doesn't actually speak very often. Her voice has only been heard twice in the show, once as a very rare laugh thanks to her friends playing with her, and the other when she called for Dog Day when she got stuck in a mud puddle. Unlike the happy show, life was much different. The person inside of Bella used to be a woman who came to the playcare every week to try and adopt a child. Unfortunately, due to some medical issues and poor support systems, she was ultimately continuously rejected from adopting. She had no one, as her family had recently disowned her, and so honestly there was nothing she could lose by continuing to try to adopt. Eventually she was able to volunteer within the play area, and at least it gave her a sense of relief for her lonely heart. While there, this is actually where she became friends with the smiling critters. Specifically, Crafty Corn was her first and closest friend, as they did share many of the same hobbies and a love for creativity. Though when she made friends with Dog Day, she was absolutely smitten with his kind, charismatic, and guiding personality. The critters have helped her through her hardest times, all except for Catnap. The purple cat was extremely wary and harsh with adults in general, but since she wasn't an actual employee, he just made her uncomfortable. He was always watching, stalking. Yet a smaller Catnap ended up becoming her favorite little friend to love on. After naming him Socks, she took care of him as if he was her own child. All of this would lead to her stumbling into the employees, taking away Socks, and her delving into the hell that was within the factory. At first, she didn't think anyone had noticed, and she began to look for ways to save her friends. Yet one day, when she came to volunteer again, she was told that she had finally been approved to adopt. Not really thinking about anything other than the excitement, she followed, only to have the room that she was in flooded with the red smoke. Her vision went blurry and her mind was full of anxiety and nightmares. Once knocked out, she was turned into a big body Bella Butterscotch. Her life as Bella was conflicting. In one sense, she was around the children and Socks all the time. This made her overjoyed. On the other hand, though, she was tortured and locked away in a cage, barely able to move. And honestly, that was really far worse than any joy she could feel. The smiling critters did their best to help her, taking care of her since she was not only so painfully new and afraid, but she was mostly unable to take care of herself. It also didn't help that she was the shortest and weakest of all the critters. At best, she reached their chin, though she could barely reach Dog Day's chest and Catnap's stomach. Like Crafty Corn, she did have hooves. It had taken Crafty ages to learn how to write with her hooves, but Bella was much less skilled. Oftentimes, if Bella was unable to speak for some reason, she would try to draw things out with her hoof rather than try to use a marker to write. It was just pointless for her. After the hour of joy, she became even more frightful. The critters were disappearing or going feral one by one. Catnap was constantly hunting them down until he could capture them and see if they would serve the prototype. For the longest time, she followed Dog Day, the only one really left to protect her and Socks. Yet, once he disappeared, she was paralyzed. Because of her experience with the red smoke, she couldn't brave going into the rooms alone. Unable to bring herself to move and scavenge for food, eventually Socks had to run off and find Catnap. He took her deep into the playcare and questioned her. Because of how ignorant she was in general of the situation, thanks to her being newer, she ended up asking questions and at least showed a sense of not wanting to get in the way. This was satisfactory enough for Catnap, allowing her to continue to live and wander. Despite all of this tension, eventually they did learn to coexist and were friendly enough that they formed a mutually beneficial relationship. She would take care of the little critters that were his eyes and ears, as well as gather information from the other bigger bodies on the upper levels. Meanwhile, he would bring her food and would allow her to have access to different areas to free roam since she didn't have hands to open it herself. Since she couldn't find Dog Day, she came to rely on Catnap exclusively. That is till she managed to find her half-destroyed friend, thanks to Spoon. The little goat helped Dog Day recover from the small critters that had been causing him hell from the inside out. I did really enjoy creating this character. She was a blast to write. I love goats, and I love the fact that Bella Butterscotch was just something I could enjoy creating. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
So catch me if I fall.